Hi, Capricorn. Welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for August of 2021. We are the astrologers of Pandora Astrology. I'm Jamie Kale Miller. I'm in Berkeley, California.
And I'm Julia Mijas in San Francisco.
Well, Capricorn, this month, a gathering of planets in your ninth house of meaning may bring you to a place of re-examining the deeper meaning behind most every aspect of your life. And if you find yourself in that place of wondering, why am I here? What does it all mean? Then answers can be found in a natal and transit astrology reading, and you'll find a link for that in the YouTube description below. Well, Juno has been traveling along through Sagittarius for about 4 months. It's about to go direct, thank goodness. But during it, we've all been involved in this deep relationship retrospection, looking at our relationship history and also the past of any relationships that we're in presently, with the idea in mind, how can there be more growth, more space for me in this relationship, for my partner? How can we feel like this relationship is more spacious? So Juno's been very busily pressing us on all of those sorts of things for several months, and the pressure is about to come off, and we'll be able to kind of untangle all of the threads, all of the ideas that have emerged from that during the whole rest of August. I've said a lot more about this, and Julia too, in the video that we made about it, which is in our June 2021 news playlist on our YouTube channel, Pandora Astrology. So I suggest that you find that and check it out. Hey, Julia, I think you've got some news for Capricorn about Mercury, Venus, and Mars.
I sure do. Hi, Capricorn. I'll begin with Mercury. That's the planet of mind. It's also the planet of communication. The first 10, 11 days of the month, it's going to start in your 8th house. This is the house of investigation. It's the house of research. So your mind could be very, very preoccupied with probing something, whether it's in your personal or in your professional life. You can get a lot of good research done now. Just be careful of not getting too paranoid in the process. Then on August 11th, Mercury moves into your 9th house of travel. It's the house of higher learning. It's the house of adventure. So your mind could be much more focused on faraway places during that cycle. It's a great transit. It's a great transit and time to do some traveling if that's available to you. And if you can't travel, it's a great time to sort of learn something new and expand your horizons in some way. Then Venus, the planet of art, beauty, and relationships, begins the month also in your 9th house, big 9th house emphasis. And wherever Venus goes, she brings some harmony and pleasure. So if you are in a relationship, you might want to do something very expansive together, maybe go on some new adventure together. Again, a good time for like a little love pleasure trip. And if you're single, you could become attracted to somebody who comes from maybe a different culture than you, whether that means they grew up in a different religion or they come from a different country or a different ethnicity too. Then Venus moves into your 10th house on August 15th. So the second half of the month, she's going to be in the most public house of the zodiac. The 10th is the house of your profession, and it's your public reputation too. So this is a great time for getting along well with the people you work with Venus in this house. You might even crush on a coworker if you're single. And since this is such a public house, if you do anything in the public eye, work with the public, or let's say you have a strong social media presence, Venus could be adding a little boost in luck to what you do. Now, Mars, the final planet I'm going to talk about, that's the planet of action and activity. Mars is hanging in your 9th house all month. So when Mars is in the 9th house, remember this is the house of travel and adventure, Mars just wants to expend its energy doing something expansive, maybe going on a new trip, maybe trying something, going on some adventure of some kind. So it can be a very stir-crazy time if there are a lot of obligations or a lot of things that you have to, that are kind of holding you in one place because you just kind of want to go out there and explore the world. The 9th house is also an educational house, so if you are in school, you might run into some flare-ups and frustrations with your teachers or maybe with the learning process in general.
Indeed. I want to go back to August 8th because we have the first of this month's 2 moons, and both of this month's moons are impacting you in the financial arenas. The first one is the new moon in Leo happening in your 8th house. New moons are times of planting seeds This one is the seeds of self-discovery because it's in Leo, which has to do with self-expression, self-actualization, those sorts of things. And this moon has a lovely trine to Chiron, but also a stressful square to Uranus. So we're calling this one Pride Springing from Wholeness, Not Ego, because it's always your choice how you want to live out astrological energies. The square between Uranus and this new moon suggests that some people may react to this moon with a desire to kind of stick out and be a little bit weird or eccentric or demanding. And other people may choose the Chiron path, and the Chiron path being harmoniously connected to the moon is much more smooth. That is where you can heal your ego and then express your sense of selfhood and your pride and confidence in yourself from a place of being more whole rather than unsure of who you really are. So then we have the next thing I want to talk about is happening around the 19th. And I want you to keep your eye on this little Uranus symbol here, because right about here, there's going to be a little red RX when Uranus goes retrograde. There it is. So Uranus goes retrograde actually on the 19th, depending on your time zone. And so Uranus is the rebel and revolutionary and brings big changes, sweeping changes, which are usually tied to conceptual shifts, a shift in the very frame in which you see something. Uranus has been traveling along through your fifth house for quite some time, the fifth house being Leo's house, the house of creativity and self-expression, also the house of fun and entertainment and play and love affairs, pleasure trips, those sorts of things. So Uranus has been bringing some very big conceptual shifts in that arena. And you may be asking yourself, well, who am I anyway during this? And so when Uranus goes retrograde, it may cast you on an inward journey to ask yourself, what is the frame that I live inside of? What is the concept of myself that I think I am? And is that concept ready for change? Am I ready to break out of that box? And if you are, you would know it because you would really be feeling this Uranus energy very strongly. Uranus brings that nervous energy, that agitation, that unsettled feeling. And we've made a video about it to help you to sort of self-diagnose and self-treat. The video explains how do Uranus transits feel and how to handle them. And you'll find it in our August 2021 news playlist, along with the videos about both of the moons this month. So pursuant to that, I want to move on to the next moon that's happening. It is a full moon in Aquarius right over here with Jupiter in your second house, opposite the sun in your eighth house. Now the eighth house, I mentioned finance during the new moon because that fell in your eighth house. And the eighth house is really about finances that you share with other people or entities. So this is where you deal with credit, taxes, insurance, debts, mortgages, loans of all sizes. And so the new moon could have brought the seeds of new beginnings around that, whereas the full moon, landing more in your second house, emphasizes the money that is just yours. Now, that may not sound like it's really connected with the theme of this moon. The theme of this moon is Hot Summer Night Party Moon. And we're calling it that because, well, it's happening on a summer night, hot summer night in August, but also with the sun in warming Leo and the moon in very social Aquarius with very gregarious Jupiter nearby, suggests that this could be a really good time for a party. Now, it's possible with this moon being in the second house that you might want to spend a lot on this party. And it might be an occasion in which you want to look good, but turn out to be a little bit too big for your britches. So I would beware of this Jupiter retrograde because there could be some bad behavior at social gatherings. I'm not saying don't have social gatherings. I'm saying, oh yeah, absolutely have them or attend them. but, don't overindulge, shall we say. One last thing I want to show you is we're having a seasonal shift as the sun moves out of Leo and into Virgo, your ninth house, bringing the spotlight and sunlight of attention to that house. The sun sheds its light on everything on earth, helping things to grow. And so when the sun moves to a new house in your chart, it's a good time to bring your conscious attention to that arena to help things grow there. And this being the ninth house, well, it's the house of our greater philosophy of life. That philosophy or religion or whatever kind of construct that you use to help you cope with life, to help you be more resilient. So the focus is very much on that all month, with Mercury passing through, Venus passing through, Mars, and now the sun entering into this arena. And this preoccupation with those bigger questions really might lead you to ask yourself, well, what does it mean that I'm here on Earth? What do various things in my life mean? And how can I find meaning in them and find my way to hope and happiness? And yeah, that's the big preoccupation. You can get a lot of answers in a natal and transit reading, like I said, and there's a link for that in the description below. Well, that's the stuff we have for you today, Capricorn. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please share this video widely. Point other people that you know to our horoscopes. And you can find them on our YouTube channel. You can also find them on our website, pandoraastrology.com, where you can also find the monthly forecast with the news of the month. And you can find classes and get readings with either Julia or me. And until next time, we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye.
Bye-bye.